Good afternoon, colleagues. Thank you everybody who came and who watching us online in the framework of the pilot project Spokesperson of Peaceful Life. We will be speaking about the fire in Svatovo military warehouses in Lugansk region. According to the experts, 5 days of continuous fire, 1,500 apartments and buildings were damaged, 16,000 were hospitalized and 4 of them died. The total damage was around 150 million hryvnia. The Prosecutor's General Office of Ukraine has named several reasons of the fire. First task and immediate task is to recover and overhaul the building infrastructure and to turn local people into the peaceful life. What will be in Svatovo? Next steps of general prosecutors. We have the head of Svatovo District State Administration, Mr. Volodymyr Ozerov. Good afternoon, Vladimir. Do you hear us? Please speak clearly and not fast, because we have simultaneous translation into English, please. On 29th October of this year, tragedies happened in our town. There was a fire in the military warehouses that contained missiles and artillery ammunition. This fire, its active stage was lasted 1 day, and 4 days it was just extinguishing of this fire by means of military machinery, and more than 2,500 families, households appeared to the local authorities, including individual buildings and apartments in multi-storied buildings. It's 1,500 apartments and 950 buildings. Not only the housing sector, but as well the communal and social buildings were damaged. 3 of them that is hospitals, educational institutions, 5 schools and 3 kindergartens. The stadium was damaged as well. Certain sites that are in communal ownership of Lugansk state, Lugansk authorities, and its school for children with impaired hearing, as well. The transport infrastructure was damaged. It's 9 kilometers of motorways. The biggest damage was caused to the regional Oblavtodur buildings, the premises and stationery was damaged, and regional gas supply, gas utility building was damaged as well. The appearance is like after bombing. As well, the damage was caused to the representative of agricultural businesses. 9 enterprises were hurt. 6 elevators, some warehouses, 2 farms, animal farms. And now the recovery of the town goes according to the schedule. The social buildings are recovered with the support of the funding from the Cabinet of Ministers. 51 million hryvnia is now earmarked. According to the present situation, the Svatovo Regional Hospital, which situated 1 kilometer from the epicenter of the fire, the roofs and windows replaced there, and refurbishing of the interior is now going on. As well, the work in renovation of school number 8, which is adjacent to the site, has started. One should visit the site in order to understand the scope of damages. If I say that around 400 windows and 90 doors were replaced in one only building of the regional hospital. Today, to manufacture doors, windows, and similar items is supported by enterprises from Kiev, Lugansk, Kharkiv. Thanking to the support from the President of Ukraine, Mr. Petro Poroshenko, the support and help from Ukrainian regions comes to us both in material form, like construction materials. The highest helpers is Dnipropetrovsk region at 700 million hryvnia of help and of assistance, and Odessa region 1,600,000 hryvnia. Not only other regions supports us, but from Lugansk region as well, from other neighboring regions. This assistance is smaller, but it is of no less importance because it was provided in the first days after the accident. Belokurakinsky, Troitsky, Milovsky, Belovodsky district helped us. Starobelsky region, Starobelsky district helped us materially, and they as well allocated a subvention of 300,000 hryvnia. And today in Svatovo, and in Svatovo district, we have 12 contractors involved in repairs of social buildings like hospitals, schools, kindergartens, and multi-storied, multi-apartment buildings. 61 of them were damaged. The works are nearly the same for each and every building, which means roof and windows. In order to understand the scale of this tragedy, we have already used 3,000 pieces of corrugated asbestos in order to cover roofs. We have a problem now because it is raining in our region, and according to weather forecast, it will be 2-3 days more of raining weather. But our goal is to complete all the renovation by 20th or 30th of November.
Talking about damages, the first days the work was done on restoring energy and heat supply. Electricity was restored in 2 days. Electricity supply. There were zones where there were damages and such. There were some zones which were disconnected, but now it's all restored. Within 24 hours, the water supply was restored. And in 3 days, the gas supply. The teams of gas specialists were brought from other regions. We had 6 crews working to start supply of gas, since this period is very dangerous because the boilers, so they were connecting apartment after apartment to the gas supply. People were working day and night. but thanks to the coordinated work of the representatives of our region and the crews from Rivne region, who were restoring infrastructure of the private sector. Thanks to that, the city is working, is living, and is restoring. First days, that was the work related to processing the documents. That was also the work which lasted 24 hours by the representatives of the Ministry of Regional Construction. Immediately after the deminers allowed to enter this territory. Today, $15 million hryvnias were allocated from the budget of the region. Out of this 15 million, 5 are planned to pay material support to people who suffered in the result of that accident. But we found out that there are many more of such people. There are 2,480 households. Each of the households will be paid 3,000 of such a single payment assistance. We already 480 persons received such material support, which is 3,000 hryvnias to each household. We requested the governor to increase this amount, adding 2.5 more million hryvnias. People realistically could feel that on the territory of Svatovsky district and in the country there are authorities who are taking care of them, who try to help them. Also, there is a program according to which, at the expense of the money from the Ministry of Regional Development, the compensation will be paid for restoration works for the buildings which were demolished or ruined. There are for groups of destructions identified the zero group, that's complete destruction. The first group, strong destruction, 70,000 hryvnias. Third group, 30,000, and then light damage. So 1,079 households and buildings are identified, which are part of the first tranche. But this list changes because in the previous years people wouldn't trust the authorities and would not come for assistance. But when they saw that people are paid real money and they see that you can get this compensation now, they started to intensively apply for assistance, and it was decided to prolong the term for application. All the documents are done so to simplify the procedure of getting assistance. As I've mentioned, 480 persons already have used this opportunity. Talking about the social sphere, we started the assembly works on the windows and the interior works. This is all information as of today. Thank you for this very detailed information. Few questions from me and then the question from the audience. You mentioned two regions, Dnipropetrovsk and Odessa, as the regions who were mostly supporting Svatovo. Was there any assistance given from some international organizations? One of the first ones arrived, the representatives of international organizations. They were Norwegian Foundation, NRC, International Red Cross Organization, and other volunteers. There were people from Kiev, and they would provide serious assistance. NRC was helping with construction materials, with the sanitary hygienic packages. The first 24 hours, people received all they needed. They were receiving some hygienic packages, food products. The humanitarian assistance was taken, and also there were the categories of people identified who require special attention. These are elderly people, pensioners. They were receiving some targeted assistance. Those who would come would receive all the assistance locally. And
As well, a coordination center of international organization is situated here in Svatovo. We've been visited by representatives of Czech Foundation. I don't remember the name. It's okay. It was a foundation from Czech Republic. They provided for monetary allowance to people, $300. Another question for you. Yuri Klimenko, deputy head of Lugansk state administration, said in one of the press conferences that an investigation commission is working and they consider diversion as one of the reasons of this accident in Svatovo. Do you have any information on the conclusion of this commission? As of today, we do not have any official information on the fire on 29th October. We don't have, and we are waiting, expecting certain official documents that will give us certain factual information, and we do not want to make any, say, theories about that. So if it is terrorism, it's okay. If not, then it could be negligence. Dear journalists, do you have any questions? Please introduce yourself. Good afternoon, Sergei Mulerchuk, Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. Please tell us if the renovation work supported with certain NGOs or independent organization, and if they probably work in cooperation with international organization already represented, already came to the region. And second small question, in your view, do you have any good or best practices you can share with somebody, some other regions or towns that are still situated in a risky zone, in the zone of possible technogenous disasters and accidents? First answer is yes, we have social organization, public organization, the Foundation for Svatovo Region Development. They are involved in distribution of non-governmental aid. We have as well under the auspice of the same organization a special task unit was set up that are involved in replacement of windows, measurements, etc., evaluation of damage. We have certain public organizations as well involved in this process. They're ready to cooperate, they're ready to provide certain assistance. And we are now trying to understand what type of help, what type of assistance we need. Second question, of course, if you'd like to share experience, you must first accumulate this experience. And I work here starting from September 2009. So I had the first gift as this accident in my birthday day. It was my birthday on that day. I worked previously in private business, and I shared understanding of the majority of our people that our country is weak and it is not properly arranged. So in 1932 the accident began. 8:30 p.m. I already set up headquarters responsible for reaction, and in immediately after 9 p.m. the people that are involved, people who are rescuers, who are representatives of the Ministry of Emergencies, started to come, and we developed evacuation programs for the entire town, and nobody could predict at the time what it will be next, because we had 3,100 tons of ammunition there, and they could have exploded for 1 week at least, and the distance was only 1 kilometer from a heavily populated, a densely populated area. As well, we had a hospital there, and in the first hours we first of all evacuated all the patients of hospitals as well. Elderly people were evacuated. We had a great support from Troitsko-Kremensky district. According to the decision of this coordination council, they send the means of transportation, the cars, in order to evacuate people. This is a piece of experience, I tell you, and we must understand it, because this is an emergency situation which was considered as a regional level emergency. Our headquarters still works, and I believe that in several years, or probably months, we will have a training, and similar situation will be the subject of those training. Any more questions or comments? Vladimir, one small clarification from Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. If any estimates were made in order to understand what time do you need in order to make Svatovo again a nice city? The situation is like the following. We start to understand that there are certain damages become obvious, and we didn't expect that in the beginning, because for instance, if you look from outside on the roof, then everything seems okay, but from inside the total cover of this roof has been cracked and damaged. So until after 20 of November, the town will start its normal life, and pupils from secondary school, they will be recovered back to their own schools. Thank you very much, Vladimir. I believe that this is a great positive message. So first of all, thank you for informing us on the major issues. And I believe that, thank you as well for your very clear and slow pace in your talking. Now, simultaneous interpreters will be thankful for you. Thank you, dear colleagues. I believe that the next meeting in the framework of this project will be next.